Well, I've had more time to think about it. I think it's the more I think about it, the more I like it. I would, of course, I can sit here and say I'd rather be a Dallas Cowboy, but I've got to move on, and if I'm going to move on, I think the more I think about it, the more I like the idea of moving on to Cleveland.
Jerry, you gave 4 years of your life to the Cowboys. Do you feel in any way that perhaps those were years wasted for you?
No, I don't think they were wasted. The Cowboys were very good to me, and I tried to do the best I could at all times for them. And I learned a lot under Tom Landry, and I learned a lot with his system, and just in general, I feel like I've gained 4 years of experience. Whether I played a whole lot or not, I still feel like I gained a lot of experience, especially playing with a championship football team.
Now, we talked to you about this over the weekend when you first heard of your trade to Cleveland. There were possibilities, I think, that you would have gone where there was not an established number one quarterback. Now you're going to Cleveland where Bill Nelson is number one, and Frank Ryan has been there for ages. Were you surprised, and are you still a little bit surprised at it?
I was surprised that when I first heard the name Cleveland mentioned to me that it might be a possibility. I wasn't shocked or anything, but you never know what their problems are. You never know why they want to do something, and you never know what's going on the undercurrent. And they got some problem, or they got some reason, or they wouldn't have been interested, and they wouldn't have been trading for them.
Would you rather go with an established contender like the Browns, the defending Eastern Conference champions, than to go with one of the younger clubs like New Orleans or Atlanta?
I think anybody'd rather go with somebody that's already got a good ball club. And many good ball clubs are right on the line of being either the winner or the loser. And sometimes it just takes it takes a quarterback, or it takes something to do it. And I think that Cleveland was on this line last year, and I think Nelson came through for him last year. But he's had a lot of injuries, and one man can't do it by himself. And then he may, if he gets hurt and I get the opportunity, you never know.
Now, have we encountered any difficulties at all in the Apollo 11 coming up?
No difficulties to slow down the pace of preparation for the launch. There are always small things to be fixed, but nothing serious whatsoever.
Now, are we coming along in our space projects as fast as we really should, and are we developing military space vehicles at the same time?
I can't speak for the military space vehicles. We and NASA don't get involved in that. But on the other projects, the manned spacecraft and the manned space programs, with Apollo we have come along perhaps just a little bit behind schedule, the schedule that was set out in 1961. But I think there will come a severe slowdown in 2 or 3 years, because at present we have no approved program to follow Apollo.
Now, what comments do you have on today's splashdown?
I think it was outstandingly successful.
I think that it's not quite as, it's not as vast in the first place. It's not as wasteful as before. I think there's been substantial improvements. I think there's been considerable improvements in the commercials, for example. And certainly in recent times we've seen more of the vital issues of the country receive exposure, and I think the public is better informed.
Well, the story that I have is Mr. Barry Burke told me that he was a stagehand at the Old Palace Theater. It was an opera house in those days, that he screwed the Globe in 1908.
When did the bulb first come to your attention?
First came to our attention when one of our people ran into it, sent it in to Ripley, and he published it in Believe It or Not in the early 30s. I'd say about 1931 or 2.
So the
By
bulb
then
was-
it was about 25 years old, we'll say.
What makes a light bulb keep burning for 60 years?
I don't know. The thing about it is that there are a lot of factors there. That globe is not turned on and off ever. It's over an exit, and it's kept on. It's on a brick wall, solid construction, no vibration. It was one of the early model light globes that were heavy carbon filaments, and it just happens to do it.
Well, the theater's been remodeled and everything else. What have they done?
Well, when they remodeled the theater, a major remodeling in 1936, the management of the theater and of Interstate Circuit were very careful to have the electricians keep that globe burning. And they did keep it burning by running extra wire circuits around as they were building, and it was quite a little chore to do, but they did do it.
And now the electricity has gone through there for 61 years. What's the look like for the future?
It could go out tomorrow, it could run another 60 years. There's no way to judge what the future would be.